Perennial plants like this artichoke are incredible because you plant them once and they continue to provide food for years to come. But in order to guarantee that they provide you with abundance, you want to get them started in the right way. Hey there neighbor, I'm Julie and welcome to Wild Homestead Living. Today I'm going to give you my quick and simple 12-step plan to planting perennials with success. Let's get started. So 12 steps for one little plant might seem like a lot, but I promise you that these are very quick, easy, and straightforward steps.
We picked up our perennials from a local farm in the Snoqualmie Valley called Carnation Farms. They were originally made famous for canned milk and for discovering that by treating cows with kindness, they will produce more milk than any world record ever set before.
Right here I've got everything I need to plant this plant, starting over here with my watering can, which is water with a little squirt of fish and kelp emulsion. I have this bowl, which has a bit of that in it as well. I've got a powdered slow release fertilizer. Behind it I've got a bucket of potting soil, and this is our own special homemade mix, and we did a video on that where you can get the recipe if you're interested. I've got an empty bucket, a hand shovel, a little mason jar, as well as my plant and the bed. So now I'll walk you through those steps and how we put it all together.
Step 1, prepare the bed.
So preparing the bed could be really easy if you've already got a very established garden bed like this one. Ours looks simple now, but this has been about a year-long process to get to this point that started with removing sod and then adding some really rich garden soil and putting in a cover crop and tilling it in. So just depending on where you're at, preparing the bed refers to the context around where your plant is going to live and making sure that it's healthy.
Step 2, soak the plant.
Soaking the plant is a really nice thing to do to give the roots a little bit of extra nutrition and support for their next big journey. I've heard Petra at Fruition Seeds in upstate New York refer to it like taking a snack with you when you hike, which I think is just a wonderful way to describe it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently squeeze this container and I'm going to turn it over and support it and pop this off. Now, if you are buying your starts, this little baby plant from a really trusted source like we did, a local farm, then you're going to see something like this. You're going to see some roots and a nice loose on the bottom. What you don't want to see is the roots making a circle and getting pot bound. If that's the case, you can loosen them a bit, or by just putting them in your water with a little bit of fish and kelp emulsion, it's going to help loosen those. And you want those roots to be nice and loose so that they can grow into their new home.
Step 3, dig the hole.
And I'm just going to move our mulch, which is already in place, aside and dig this hole about 2 times the size of that root ball there. So the reason that we want to dig that hole bigger is that when the roots are first getting established, we don't want them to meet a lot of difficulty and resistance.
Step 4, add fertilizer.
Adding the granular fertilizer is going to provide an extra snack a little bit later on when the roots have moved through the looser soil and they're getting into the harder soil. Just like if you take a long hike, you want to bring more than one snack. You want to give your plant a couple of snacks too.
Step 5, replace soil.
You're going to dump pretty much all of that soil back into the hole.
Step 6, press in the hole.
The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my mason jar and I'm going to press it right into that soil, and it's going to create a little more firm cup for where my start is going to go.
Step 7, add potting soil.
Now that that hole is there, I'm going to fill it with my potting soil. This potting soil is a mix of compost and really good rich soil and vermiculite, and has lots of looseness and space for those new roots to grow.
Step 8, place the plant.
Finally, it's time to put in the plant.
Step 9, fill in the hole.
And then we're going to add more potting soil if needed. And we want to make sure that we press the potting soil in. Plants don't like to have air around their roots.
Step 10, mulch.
Now I'm going to mulch. We're using straw. If you are in a more urban place where you can't get straw or can't have space for bales, you can use things like grass clippings or leaves. I've even heard of people using bark or pine shavings. And this is going to help to make sure that the plant has consistent moisture and temperature as it gets established. And it means you're going to have to water it less. Step 11, water in. This time I'm going to be watering for its first watering in place with a diluted fish and kelp emulsion. You could do this more often if you feel like it, which is wonderful as your plant gets established, but at least its first time in the ground, it's going to give it a little extra boost. Step 12, monitor. We set this artichoke up for success, and every day I'll probably come out, mostly because I love walking in my garden, but also just to check on this and see how it's doing and make sure that it's not too wet or too dry to get it started in the first few months in the spring, especially when the weather can fluctuate. So there you have it, 12 steps to successful perennials. I would love to know what your favorite perennials are, and if you have any special tips or questions, go ahead and scroll down wherever you're watching, leave a comment for us. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. I don't know if you can hear my neighbor using his backhoe. It's really loud to me, and he just started using it when I started filming. They said moving to the country would be quiet and peaceful. I'm just waiting. Just gonna wait for that moment.